what was the reasoning that you thought it was necessary that we needed to chat about this?
How do most gyms come up with their pricing structure and how they get started, how they get people started?
I would say most gyms come from another box. They know what they were charging. And then what they actually do is go, well, let's go a little less than that.
As terrible as it sounds, that's the smaller of that huge ball of mistakes that we will call it. Always for the record, I am that guy.
You've done it. I did it.
Everybody's done it, right?
When you say front end offer, what specifically do you mean?
What is the initial offering when a prospective lead comes into the gym?
Let's talk about determine your athlete intake process. So, step one, like, how do you even begin to consider and think about this?
How do I bring somebody into the gym? A free trial class? Is it going to be a consult into a free trial class? Is it going to be a consult into some sort of on-ramp or foundations or fundamentals, whatever you want to call it? Is it going to be direct to class? Those are just a handful of different options. So what is the format? What is the manpower in order to facilitate said format? Okay. From there, you can start to reverse it, engineer everything.
The mistake affiliate owners make in general is like, well, I'm here anyway, so I'll do on ramp or I'll do classes, etc. The long term goal is someone else is probably coaching this and they are also getting paid for it. What are some of the ways they can create additional value?
So I want to be able to stack the number of things that find valuable. So what would they find valuable? Convenience, amenities, individualization, personal attention. First, you design the format. Then I look at like, how can I value stack, right? And now I'm starting to layer on the pieces that would help me communicate the front end offer, because then there's follow-on actions to that. First, you design the format. Then I look at like, how can I value stack, right? And now I'm starting to layer on the pieces that would help me communicate the front end offer, because then there's follow-on actions to that. Jay, what's a personal training session cost? What would you charge for a personal training session?
120.
What would you charge for a 30-minute nutrition consult?
75.
If you were just going to charge for 24-hour access?
As an upsell to a standard membership, $24.
What would you charge for an in-body scan?
15.
Towel service?
$10 a month.
A goal review session?
I'll do 75.
A sauna or cold plunge use?
$35 a month.
A one-off movement assessment?
120.
And then what is your membership for the gym?
$215.
What's the damage there, Cody?
$689.
From a sales standpoint, all of those things have value. So when you're value stacking this is one of the strategies that you can use. And then I say, but here's what we're going to give that to you for. It is a sales strategy, but it is a sales strategy based on leading with the value, so that when you come in with the price point, they are probably assuming a number higher than what you are about to give them. And herein lies the strategy in this process. What you offer them should drastically outpace what they're willing to pay. You understanding your value is not this exercise to be like, I'm valuable. Like, that's not the exercise. Tangibly, what do you offer that is of value to other people?
As a coach that gives away knowledge for free, the hardest part for me is feeling selfish for dude, Michael, that's everything Fern just said. Come up with your dollar amount that you're worth per hour. Anything less than that you can hire for, cool. Well, now pay them, because your time is more valuable being spent working on your business or doing other things.
It's a novel concept. However, the practical side of that is just like, you don't have that, so you should take your ass to work.
For you, Michael, like, it's easy to just look at it. It's like, I'm just a coach. Or I'm like, when people are giving you money, you're giving them a solution to a problem. Whether you've been through level 1 or you've been doing CrossFit for 5 or 10 years, you have valuable experience.
This is a process. I want to emphasize that, right? You can't just jump to the front of the line and do all, like, everybody listening will go through multiple iterations of this where they're like, okay, you value stack it and it's just okay. And then you get better, and then you value stack it again, and then you adjust the price, and then you value stack it again and you adjust the price. Because that comes into the next piece, which is price it and pitch it. Eventually somebody's going to ask you, all right, so what's the damage on this? How does this work? A lot of times people get this backwards. You need to think through order of operations. We want to establish, like, what's the least amount that I want to get? And then I'm going to anchor that against, like, what's the most it would cost. This also is important from a standpoint of filtering for shitty clients. If somebody comes in like, well, I just don't want any of that, and I'm like, well, then this is not the place for you.
You have to be willing to send people elsewhere when you know the value you bring.
Now we can start to have that conversation about, like, what is the outcome? You're going to pay me money. I'm going to get you an outcome. This makes it significantly easier through the sales process, because they probably just told me what it is that they want. This is an education piece, Eric. Here's the deal. Everybody will take the lower price point. It's not weird if people want to pay less money. Everybody wants to pay less money. This is another thing that people make mistakes on when they build a front end offer is they build what I've come to describe as like off ramps. They're like, here's the thing, but if you want to do that, here's another thing that I'm not super stoked about. It isn't super useful to the business. And if you don't like that one, I've got this really shitty offer for me as far as it works for me, but you can take that one just so I can get a transaction out of you. Don't build the off ramps.
What is your package called?
I call him Dick for short. Yeah.
What is your front end offer called? The accelerator
Accelerator
program. Because one of the things we want to talk about is naming it.
When naming things, it's hard to find something that's like not cheesy or seems sleazy or anything like that. So think outcome. You want it to be overt and you would really like it to be outcome based.
They've named it, and then we have build it, sell it.
Build it is meaning like the mechanics of building it, right? So I understand all the mechanics of like, hey, if this, then that. And then what the actual sale looks like. How do we actually exchange money? How do I build it on the back end so that it's seamless for the client?
There needs to be thought. They should be practicing this sales pitch.
I don't like the LEO education discount. I know gyms that only have LEO teacher members because no one wants to pay $150 when everybody else is paying $80.
First and foremost, if you want to offer certain discounts at your gym because you just feel that that is something you want to do, then offer the discounts. Those discounts, while yes, we appreciate what they do, they're just arbitrary. They're just occupation based. And the reality is just like, where does it end? We don't like them because they don't make sense. But if you want to offer them. I don't care.
When you first educate a client, if you have a menu of standalone services that you legitimately offer, and you make that menu public, and you also have basic monthly gym membership fee as a service on that menu, do you lead with the monthly gym membership, the highest dollar item, or let the client decide what is most important to them?
With regard to sales in general, you should be in control of the sales process at all times. Information gets presented in the order that you have determined leads people to the desired outcome, always.
Incentives for certain things at sign up.
If in fact you think that you're doing a good job with it or you think it would be valuable to them, then yes, I would tee those up because I've done two things now. Number one, it's time sensitive. And then number two, people are more inclined to spend more money up front. And it's a good place to introduce a lot of those things. If you don't have the bandwidth for PT and this isn't something that you don't think necessarily warrants PT, then don't sell them PT. I think if we were to just bullet point it, the first is like determine how you're going to intake people. I think if we were to just bullet point it, the first is like determine how you're going to intake people. What is that actual like step-by-step process? They do this, then I do this, and they do this, and they just keep going down until like, boom, they join. I need to create my kind of value stack, which is like, what do they get? And now that I've got all that ready, I'm like, now I need to build it so that I can sell it. And then I need to practice it. That's the mechanics of it. And all along the way, you should be asking yourself, like, does this make sense? The easy sale is the one that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it gets real convoluted. Can I logically come to the conclusion that this would be a fair price for this? For both parties, fair for them and fair for me.